The flu season of 2017 to 2018 killed 80,000 people, yielding an 11% death rate. Well, how does that compare to the recent coronavirus epidemic? 1.3% death rate. So why wasn't there a national emergency 2 years ago? Why wasn't there a lockdown? Why wasn't there a quarantine? By the way, a virus is as virulent as it is. It doesn't become more virulent as more and more people are infected by it. As a matter of fact, as more and more people are infected, the death rate numbers tend to come down. 2 days ago, the death rate in the United States from the coronavirus was 1.6%. Now it's 1.3%. As more numbers get reported, I'm going to guess ultimately it's going to be right around 1%. So why is there a national emergency, a quarantine, and a lockdown, and that the economy's tanking? Why is that? Well, I have no idea. But I'm telling you, all this fear-mongering is 1,000% unnecessary, and the people responsible for it should be ashamed of themselves. Because the MDs are trained in reductionistic medicine, it only makes sense that they would excel in trauma care, surgery when it's necessary, and a handful of infectious diseases. These are the things that the MDs are great at. Thank God for Novocaine. Penicillin, maybe. But nonetheless, there is a place for the MD using allopathic reductionistic therapeutics. But because of the medical monopoly, the MDs treat everything all the time, and even though while we have been under their tutelage and care, everything is getting worse, we still go to them. For goodness sakes, we don't go to chiropractors for open heart surgery or to remove bullets from our arm. It is my opinion that neither should we go to a medical doctor if we have a chronic disease. When it comes to chronic diseases, MD-directed medical treatments for chronic diseases, they don't cure anything. They're the leading cause of bankruptcy and the leading cause of death. And what's the most expensive medicine? It's the one that doesn't work. I think a lot of people are starting to smell this rat because the national medical emergency, the quarantines and the shutdown of the economy are simply not warranted. And inquiring minds would like to know what the heck is going on, because numbers don't lie. In the 2017 to 2018 flu season, it broke all kinds of records. Normally between 54,000 people a year die in the U.S. from the flu. By the way, are you okay with that? You know what that means? That means conventional medical doctors are piss poor at being able to treat the flu. So why aren't the naturopathic doctors, the licensed naturopathic doctors, invited to the table? My profession is only licensed and regulated in 20 states in the United States. Does that mean that the laws of nature or science change when you cross the state line? No, it has everything to do with the monopolization of the medical marketplace. The pharmaceutical industry is in control. They don't want the naturopaths to have a say here because it's a turf war. The flu season of 2017 to 2018 killed 80,000 people, yielding an 11% death rate. It's a big number, bigger than 50 to 54, which is usual. I don't know what's going on behind the scenes. I don't know who's pulling these strings. Dr. Fauci should be ashamed of himself. And other medical doctors who are, forwarding this narrative. Oh, be afraid, be very afraid, stay at home, lock down, we're all going to die, should be ashamed of themselves. Now, this is one of the problems with conventional medicine from my point of view. Lots and lots of unrepentant hubris. Doctors never wrong, even when they're wrong. And that's a problem. So I'm calling right now on other medical professionals to stand up and be counted. Ladies and gentlemen, if you survived the 2017 to 2018 flu, then the chances are strong that you're going to survive this, because it was 10 times more virulent than this one is. And oh, by the way, if you would like to really cut through all of the internet nonsense, the nonsense on YouTube and Facebook about home remedies for viral infections, well, visit my website as frequently as you can, glidden.healthcare. Cancer by the numbers from the American Cancer Society and the United States Center for Disease Control. Between 2010 and 2020, there will be almost 2 million new cases of cancer, which are projected to happen. What does this mean? This means that conventionally trained medical doctors who hold sway over the research, development, and delivery of medical treatments are lousy at treating cancer. They have no idea what causes cancer, and they have no idea how to cure it, because under their watch, cancer is getting worse. According to the United States Center for Disease Control, in 2016, there will be 1,685,210 new cancer cases. Nearly 600,000 people will die from it. This translates to 4,620 new cases of cancer every day, 1,630 deaths. How many people died in the Twin Towers? 2,000. We went to war. 1,600 people a day die from cancer, and what do? We continue to give the people who have failed us more money. 80,000 people a year are killed by MD treatment. The leading cause of death in the United States is MD-directed medical therapeutics. That's more people than are killed by heart disease or cancer. Leading cause of bankruptcy in the United States, MD therapeutics. Because the most expensive therapeutic is the one that doesn't work. So you don't have osteoporosis because you have a voodoo curse. You have osteoporosis because your body ran out of the stuff it needed to keep the bones healthy. This is a cross-section of your spine, and the white stuff in this drawing is the bones, your backbones, the stuff the chiropractors adjust. We love chiropractors, by the way. The red tissue here is the cartilage cushion between the joints, between the bones, and the black, green, and purple stuff is the nerves. When you're healthy, the red colored discs, they're not really red in life, but for artistic expression, right, they're red. Those discs are like feather pillows, and they're chock full of feathers. But as you go down the road of life, if you're not consuming the right nutrients, the bones and the disc run out of structural integrity. Rocket science. If this tank represents your body's nutritional needs, in order for your body to be healthy and for everything to work the way that nature and God intended it to, your nutritional tank needs to be topped off every day with the 90 essential nutrients. But because nobody knows this, nobody supplements appropriately. And even if you have a perfect diet, you eat exactly the right stuff that you need to, and it's all organic, you can secure about 30–40% of your body's nutrient needs from food. But then you experience the stress of life. Emotional stress, financial stress, environmental stress, crap in the air, crap in the food, crap in the water, bugs, viruses, germs, lions and tigers and bears. Guess what the stress does? It burns right through your reserves. Now you're running on fumes, baby. You know what happens when you run on fumes? Things start to break. You think you got osteoporosis, which is thinning of the bones because you have a bad gene? No.
Genetics and cholesterol are two of the biggest failed theories of the 20th and 20th century. Genetics are not involved in any way. It's actually called epigenetics. Basically, your genes, your DNA, your RNA, and your telomeres, little end caps in the chromosomes, require all 90 essential nutrients, 16 minerals, 16 vitamins, 12 amino acids, 3 fatty acids. And if any one of those things is below the minimum daily requirement or missing, the genes, the DNA, RNA, and telomeres can't work. And so instead of living to be 200, and you're eating the same recipe Grandma used when she ate and she died at 120, you die at 18 of a heart attack, even though you're eating exactly the same recipe for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, because everything changed between Grandma's time and your time.
The exact moment when everything changed, it was 3 o'clock in the afternoon, Monday, September 4th, 1882, and Thomas Edison pulled the switch on the first commercial electric generating plant. And 10 years after that, every city dweller switched over to electricity for heating and cooking. How many wood ashes were left over when you cooked and heated with electricity?
Nothing.
Zero. What did they do to replace all those minerals they've been getting for thousands of years? Nothing.
Got sick.
Got sick now for diseases they never heard of before. It just displaced were our source of minerals. But they didn't make up the difference. Nobody knew to make up the difference. This is where the book Immortality comes in. We looked at the top 20 longevity cultures on Earth. We did it through National Geographic. We used their pick of the top 20 longevity cultures. We have 40 times 100-year-olds. They have 100-year-old per 250 population. We have 100-year-old per 10,000. Sardinians, Nicoyans in the Pacific coast to Costa Rica, Okinawans, Hunzas. All top 20 longevity cultures are third world cultures. They're illiterate, no doctors, no medical system. They have no utilities. They all use wood for fuel. By dumb luck, for actual analysis of the land that they grew their food on, they had 60 minerals in their soil. Obese or even overweight, it's a disease of deficiency. You're deficient in a couple of minerals. And the symptom, the deficiency, is munchies.
So what are the minerals?
I won't tell you yet. Because if I tell everybody, what I want them to do is get that book, Hell's Kitchen, and read the whole story.
Oh, so it's just a couple of minerals that will take care of the munchies.
Well, there's two minerals. If you have the deficiency of those two minerals, you're going to be one of these people who weigh 600, 800, 1,200 pounds. But any mineral deficiency, not vitamin, you can be deficient in all the vitamins you want, and you won't gain weight.
Oh, it's mineral deficiency.
It's a mineral deficiency. In horses, it's called cribbing. They chew on the fence.
Right.
Pica.
Pica, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And little kids will eat dirt and stuff
Lead
like that. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
That's because of a mineral deficiency.
Huh.
Only.
So when people have the munchies, their body's wisdom is, let's go get some minerals, and they're trying these minerals.
You're driving you to eat something to find the minerals.
Yeah. Everybody wants to lose weight. Obesity is ridiculous.
We're the number one obese nation in the world.
By 2030, they estimate 50% obese. Folks use the Mighty 90 to lose some weight.
We spend more money for healthcare than all the nations of the world combined. We're the number one obese nation in the world. What's going on here? What that tells you, you don't have to be too bright. Stand back and say, how could we be the number one obese nation in the world? What does it say? The level of understanding of obesity by our doctors and our government. We know nothing.
Nothing.
Otherwise, we'd be number 204. Right? We'd be the thinnest people on earth and the healthiest. But we're number one obesity because they know nothing about obesity. In their theory, obesity is caused from lack of exercise and a disease of excess. You're eating too much. Because they think that we're like an oven. I think if you eat carbohydrates at only 4.5
Calories in, calories out. that whole
Exactly,
thing.
4.5 calories per gram as opposed to 9 calories per gram for fat. Can't buy fat. It's fat-free, low fat, no
Right,
fat.
but we're still fat.
We're still obese. Okay, and that's because it is not a disease of excess and it's not a disease of lack of exercise. When you're obese or even overweight, it's a disease of deficiency. You're deficient in a couple of minerals. And the symptom, the deficiency, is munching.
Set up 4 groups. Group number 1 got chopped up iceberg lettuce for 6 weeks. Group number 2 got only the chopped up hydroponically grown barley grass. Group number 3, the one that has the ruler on it, got the Ralston-Purina scientifically constructed duck pellets. And then the hydroponically grown barley grass and duck pellets together, group number 4, they were 5 times bigger than the number 1 and number 2 groups. Same mother, father. Mother and father were eating the same food for the entire 3 months. We get the 125 eggs. And the only genetic difference between them was some were boys and some were girls. Otherwise, the genes were exactly the same because the same mother, father. And the only one that got the nutrients in such a level that it allowed them to get the genetic potential for health and longevity and fending off disease and size and fitness and so forth was the one that got both the hydroponically grown barley grass and duck pellets. This experiment was written up in scientific journals. It became the first scientific study done on the science of epigenetics. It was in the mid-60s, in 1967, I believe. Girls get strokes now. They get a blood clot in the brain, get a stroke, and die. Strokes are caused by omega-3 essential fatty acid deficiency. It has nothing to do with cholesterol and saturated fat. Lupus is a very simple nutritional deficiency disease. It's not autoimmune. I don't care if you've had it for 30 years. It's reversible. You get on a gluten-free diet so you can absorb the nutrients. You get on all 90 essential nutrients with a little bit of what we call the secret sauce so your body can rebuild itself, and lo and behold, God works His magic. Down syndrome. Down syndrome is caused by a deficiency of a single mineral in the first division after the sperm fertilizes the egg. But if there's not optimal amounts of that one mineral, there's a high probability that there will be a Down syndrome baby. Well, up until about 25, 30 years ago, the word was amongst the OBGYNs, middle-aged women over age 35 were more apt to have a Down syndrome baby. Well, today, women in their 20s and teens who get pregnant are the ones more likely to have a Down syndrome baby. Now, Down syndrome is reversible in the first 2.5 months of pregnancy. You can see the baby has Down syndrome, and it's reversible at that point. I've done it many, many times. My most famous one was Lauren Knievel, Evel Knievel's niece-in-law, and it's one of those God things I call it. You give the body what it needs, even as an embryo, it will repair itself.